All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can get joined in here. 1 second. This tweeted out so everybody can get joined in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, I hope everybody's doing well and had a great trading day today. So, thank you for joining in, everyone. So, this is we're going to continue our discussion here on bullish reversal patterns, and today we're going to talk about the classic, the awesome three white soldiers. So here we go. So before we get started here today, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So let's get started and see where we're at with the market here, where we left off today. Let's go to the SPX and check out the monthly chart. So here we are. So as I've said a couple times on the videos intraday, when we have really high volatility, it really helps to zoom out to look at the bigger time frame. So we always typically look at the monthly charts here, but it really helps to see where these key levels of support and resistance are. Right, we have these big range days. Right, we were up 143 points today. You see these big days with the 200 point days, things like that. It helps to kind of look at the monthly chart and see what we've got as support and resistance. So we do have this December low really kind of looks kind of minuscule compared to what we're dealing with here. We had kind of the big clue right here was back in January, right? We had the upper shadow, right? It was very rare to see a shooting star off of the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart. We did see that here. We hit the all-time high off that, but it was weak, and we've talked about that trend line down, which brought us to where we are today as we broke down through there. So pretty epic stuff, guys. We wiped out an entire year's worth of gains in basically 2 months. And really, I mean, just a couple weeks, really, when you think about it. But we've pulled down here in the monthly chart. We bounced off the lower Bollinger Band a little bit in the cloud, but we are still below the 50 moving average on the monthly. This is your bear market line right here. So we're definitely tracking that to see where we close this month on the monthly chart. Let me make sure everything's coming through. Okay, yeah. So good. So the from there, right, we have our weekly chart, right? So the weekly chart is recently we talked about changes of composure, profiting in bull and bear markets. We talked about the 30 weekly moving average, how important that is on the weekly chart, right? To see like when things at least temporarily start to change trend and where we can kind of look to switch gears a little bit, right? We did back here. We've been kind of projecting this forward to this 30 weekly moving average. Big red candle, inside candle, big red candle, inside candle, but a lot bigger magnified, right, than that one. So we've been below the 30 weekly moving average. We had this Harami cross right here, which is a bearish continuation pattern to the downside on the weekly. We saw that, right? So last week we had a big push down, started to get close to the 2018 lows right before the Christmas reversal. And then we had a big lower shadow here. There's some hope coming into this week, and then we gapped down again, right? So over the weekend. So this is where we are this week. So it's starting to put in a hammer this week, and you can kind of see what happened today. Again, once again, they rallied into the close, and then right now the futures are down. We'll try to take a look at that in a second here. So let's take a look at the price action here intraday. So you can see here, right? We gapped up a bit. Try to video. It was nice this morning. It was actually nice to be able to go live this morning and not be halted for the first 15 minutes. So that was fun. Then we had a little bit of a push down, kind of a momentum shooting star here that got below the 15 or below a little bit, and then they started to buy the dip today, right? And then so we got through a lot of levels. We got to the the 15 orb high, and then we pushed up even more. So this was this big push here around 11:30. They had the conference, the Corona Task Force had the White House meeting there and gave us a move, right, to the upside. But what we saw here was basically a double top right here, essentially a tweezers top up here, and we got a big move down, bounced off the 15 orb high down, and they tried to rally into the close again. So pretty interesting stuff. So let's take a look at the this is the 5-minute chart. This shows our levels. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open. So we have something to navigate with, right? We have the prior days levels. We have our daily pivot levels right here. You can see the prior days high. Lots of really key levels, and that was kind of the key thing right here. So today we shorted SPY as we broke down here. And why we do that? Why do we shorten to such strength? Well, we had a lot of indicators that showed us that was the case, right? But we also broke down our trend line here, right? And then we had room to get down to the next level. So that's what we were looking at here. And we also showed, at least with this candle here, that we could not get above the prior day's highs, right? So that was kind of a big deal right there. And for anybody that follows futures at night too, we couldn't, we barely pushed above. Well, we did push above the prior day's highs, but that was kind of a key level, the prior day's highs there. And then we kind of came back in and then chopped around and gave a little bit of a rally into the close. So that's what we saw today. So let's take a look at the S&P Futures and see what they're up to right now. So right now the S&P Futures is down 76 points. So we're down to 2409. A very, very key level to hold right here. The low so far tonight has been 2395, and that's really, really close to the limit down, right? So So we have to be careful. If we flush below here tonight, I think we get halted, and then we'll see how that goes right now. But generally, the trend is down. Right, we're trying to break out of it right here, so let's see if it can do it. Maybe get a little bit of a rally into tomorrow, but otherwise we may see a halt tonight. Hopefully not. Hopefully we get some action here. So anybody who gets up early likes to trade futures will be able to do that. So, but very very interesting stuff, and let's see if this level holds tonight. So I think the algos are kind of clued into this right there, so they try to keep it away from those limit downs. Now that we've seen it enough, they're like, wait a second, we can't. The algos are like, we can't make money down here, right? So they try to keep it up and all that stuff. We saw that last night too. So as it didn't get over the limit up from yesterday, so we had a limit up here. It's like, oh no, let's not get that high, right? And so this is what we saw. Actually, here's the limit up right here, right? So for the most part during the prior session, right, they stayed away from it. So let's see if they do that again tonight with the lows. We'll see. Nice candle here, nice little inside 15 breakout right here to the upside on that anyway, or inside 5. So good stuff. All right, so today we're going to continue our discussion on bullish reversal patterns, and this is an interesting one. The three-weight soldiers is a really interesting one. So it's almost the most counterintuitive of them all, because it's like, you get so bullish, it's really hard to buy into that much bullishness, right? But the thing is I see this all the time, right? And especially when we're looking at futures and SPX, we'll take a look at a few of those here in a little bit. But let's take a look and show what the three-weight soldiers are. So the three-weight soldiers are, if you're trending down, right, trending down this way, you get a three white candles in a row. Basically just kind of get a higher high and higher low on each one, right? And then that tends to get a movement to the upside. And it's tough. It's counterintuitive, because a lot of times you get that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out, right? And so when we see it kind of moving up there, by the time you get here, it's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it can go any higher. And typically it does. In fact, the probability that a three white soldiers is going to go up even farther, according to Bulkowski, right, is an 82% chance probability that you're going to get follow through to the upside on that, right? So pretty impressive stuff. So let's take a look at some examples of that. So you can actually see it here on the ES a couple times. So if we go here, right, so we had a downtrend right here, and then we had one higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and look at that, nice follow through to the upside. So you don't think it's going to be bullish, right? And there's a little bit of sideways action before there, but we did get nice, and in fact it kept on going off of that. Nice follow through the upside. In fact, it did another three-weight soldier right here, because it pulled back right here, right? And then 1, 2, 3, and then worked its way up, right? So higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then it moved up. And that's just on the 5-minute chart, right? So it's tough, right? It's a little bit tricky, because a lot of times, if we're downtrending, this could be mistaken as a bear flag, right? So that is the key, right? Is the key to really to evaluate here whether or not it's going to get that continuation downside. So it's a tough, right? Because you see that FOMO, it's like, oh wow, I already missed a big part of that move. It's hard to believe that you're going to get more follow through to the upside. So that's one of the tricks of that one. So that's the 5-minute chart right there. So you can see it happens on the intraday time frame. We also see it happens on the larger time frames as well, right? So you see we move down right here. 1, 2, 3 candles up, and then you got that big move up right here. So 3 white soldiers to the upside on that one. So I mean, obviously it's nice to be perfect, textbook. Everything is essentially the same size and all that stuff. But in general, you get 3 candles in a row off a downside, right? So green candles with higher high, higher low. That's the idea right there. So pretty cool stuff. We still like to use it. It's still really important to use with our key levels, trends, clouds, things like that, to verify, to make sure that it's going to work in your favor. Here we have this pullback right here, 1, 2, 3 white soldiers up, and then worked its way up there. So pretty interesting stuff there. You can see it on the hourly chart, right? So we have the pullback here, 1, 2, 3 green candles up, and they got movement to the upside, right? And it's just great. It's an interesting one. It's very very counterintuitive to think of, right? Because of the FOMO feeling, right? It's like, how could it go up after 3 big candles? And a lot of times it does. Now, not necessarily it's going to immediately, right? But you might see a little bit of pullback and all that stuff, but typically it tends to hold those levels and then continue up. So 82% chance of it doing it. So we also see it occasionally on the daily chart, right? Until recently, you don't see too many pullbacks here, right? But you get a downtrend here. 1, 2, 3 the upside, never broke through on that one. Moved down a little bit, and here we go. Here's a down move right here. 1, 2, 3 pullback, right? But ultimately, once you got above those levels right here, right, started to work its way back up and basically led its way all the way up to that recent bull move to the upside. So pretty impressive stuff right here. So that is the three white soldiers, and definitely keep an eye out for it on the intraday, and even on the smaller time frames and even the large time frames. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Hopefully it'll help improve your trading, and another great bullish reversal pattern. And one day on the daily chart, we're going to see these again once this whole mess is over with, right? So it should be pretty interesting to keep an eye out for. So good stuff. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can. We'll try to wrap up as early as possible so we can get a great night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. All right, so we have a few in here. So Shirley sent in a couple by email, so let's take a look there. We have DAL. So I think Shirley wants to buy the dip on these. So again, we had a nice bounce day. We've had a lot of volume coming in. Be careful with these airlines, right? They are, granted, there might be some bailouts and things like that, but we still have to respect our trend lines and our technical analysis. Excuse me. Our trend lines and our technical analysis, and make sure we break out over our trend lines, right? So even this recent trend line down here, we've got a bigger one right here. We have a little bit of breakout here. I definitely want to see it close above the highs with some good volume, and then maybe we can start to work our way up. We still have the macro trend line to deal with on that one. Tesla, let's take a look. Okay, so Tesla might be in for a rough ride here. Again, in fact, the entire automotive business is going to be a little bit rough too. So from what I understand today, I think GM came out and said that several of their manufacturing facilities are going to be taking some time off, right, from the manufacturing process, to protect their workers from Corona. So it's going to be rough. And Tesla is not out of that situation either. I do believe one of their facilities where we have manufacturing there also just got a shelter-in-place notification. I think it's like one of their, the Fremont factory. Basically said it's non-essential. So at 9:43 tonight, it's Tesla shares fall after sheriff says Fremont factory is non-essential. Okay, so be careful. So Tesla has gone all the way from almost 1,000. It's down almost below 400. Let's see how it looks after hours here. Yeah, so it's kind of fallen down a little bit here after hours too. So let's see if that can fall through the downside tomorrow. So just be careful with that one. Let's take a look at the Qs. QQQ. Inside day. Excuse me, grapefruit. Inside day. Good volume today. Finished up 12 points today. So let's see how it handles these levels, right? Again, a breakout over today's levels might make a move up to fill a closing gap up here. Again, it's still below the ADMA. We're still below a bunch of trend lines right now. Okay, so definitely stuff to keep an eye on right here. If we break down even farther, we've got the next levels down. Let's take a look right here. So we've got back here. This was the June low, which we still seem to be holding right here. And if we go a little bit farther back, we have the December low. So again, a breakdown below today's lows could give more downside movement. Of course, the SPY. Okay, SPY gave a nice attempt today, for a move up. But just looking at the futures right there, if they, persist to the downside, if they can't hold the that 23.95 level tonight, they may get halted, and we might see more downside movement on this one. So let's see if that's done. Otherwise, we got the December lows to get tested, and then below that, who knows? Who knows where it could go from? I mean, it could go all the way to the 2009 lows, right? So it's a possibility. So that's SPY. Let's take a look at UA. Okay, so UA, yeah, it looks like it's trying a little bit here. Again, still below all its trends right here. So again, bearish until proven otherwise. Almost the 80 MA almost looks like a perfect moving average right here. So bearish till proven otherwise. Wow, $8 stock for UA. Gotta love it. JP Morgan. Maybe they could benefit from zero rates. I know they're getting the banks are getting a lot of liquidity because of the essentially the quantitative easing that they're working on right here. We're still below this trend line, so look for a close above those highs and then a bullish close above that to get out of the trend line and then try to work its way up. So it's good stuff. Nothing really too exciting out there, but that's to the bullish side. But we still got to get over these trend lines. That's kind of the key right now. So we're just continuing to track those. So. Epic Milkiness, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Dylan, what's up? AMC, let's take a look. So AMC, yeah, so a lot of restaurants getting closed around the country. A lot of them are limited to takeout only. Dine-in, I know, is banned where we are. AMC is a penny stock. It's a $2.48. So hit a low today of 195. Not a lot of folks going to be going to movies in the near future, right? So something to keep an eye on here, right? We're still below the macro trend line, the macro trend line and the minor trend line. This has been trending down for a while anyway, but to get bullish on this thing, we want to see if we can get over the trend line, close above it, and then maybe try to work our way back up to wherever the cloud is at the time, or even this macro trend line here. So again, bearish until proven otherwise. And then Penn, yeah, any of the casinos too, guys. Everything's pretty rough right here. Penn Gaming went from $39, it's down to $7 right now. So they're getting pretty much decimated by all this stuff. And look at this. We drew this back there, right? Here's your upper trend line. This is your trend box. Here's your close below it. And look at that, worked right below it. So beautiful move down through the cloud, down through the 200-day, and now it basically hit a low of $7 today. So we're seeing that across the board with these casinos. So again, all bearish until proven otherwise. Good volume today too on a bearish candle. So look for a break on that one if there's anything left to trade on it. ZEK, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look. So we got Billy. Good old Billy. We're starting to see some rallies in some of the Chinese names. Some news coming over there that, a lot of things are starting back up over there. Basketball teams starting up, like some, different, facilities are opening, things like that. So maybe there's some hope there that, things are getting better. And then once they get better there, eventually they'll get better here. So we like that. They had earnings today after the market, so we had a hammer there. Let's see how it's looking here after market here. Yeah, it's it started to move up a little bit. It's kind of coming down too, so just be careful with that one. But generally, I did like the hammer how it was coming out of the cloud. It had trouble getting over this resistance level, that prior resistance level there. So good level to keep an eye on that. Rad, yeah. So Rad's a good one. Has had some pretty big intraday moves. I like how it held this hammer off of the 200-day moving average. Got some good volume, increasing volume that came in through there. Got some nice fall through the upside today. Again, some key levels though. I want to see it get over to these guys, right? If we can close above that with some good volume too, we might be able to see the next levels up and possibly on the gap right there. So I like how Rad's been, being radical, right? Doing good. Take a look at K. Hey. Kellogg's looking pretty good here. I guess folks are buying more cereal, as they stock up at home. So let's see, recent lows right here is your trend line right here. We got above that one, so let's see if we can get above today's highs and try to work its way up. So there you go. Kellogg's is doing pretty good. Nice one. I like it. I'm gonna put that on the bullish radar for tomorrow. Give me a second right here. All right. So give me 1 second, guys. Get that typed up here real quick. Adding K to the list. Yeah, I like Penn to the short side too. Nice. And then today, interesting, we got those. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, great charts there. Good stuff. Harry, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, my pleasure. mRNA. Yeah, let's take a look. mRNA, wow, look at this, got out over the downward trend line here today. This has been just such a tough one, right? It's had some big, next day gaps, here, next day gap up, and then it just kind of gets a little just so sloppy, but they're definitely in the works here on, some corona vaccines, things like that, so it's getting some nice moves, and then folks just don't want to stay in it, right? So it's a tough one. It's a little bit tricky with the options too, but it did leave a big upper shadow today. Possible shooting star. It might come back and test the ADMA or the trend line, so we'll kind of see how that goes there, but look for bullish setups on it. It is one of the go-to corona names. TGT, little Target. Target again. A couple of these retailers have been popping here, like Kroger, Walmart, Costco, things like that, on the fact that everybody's just raiding their shelves. Upper shadow here today at the 200-day moving average. Not one of the strongest in the sector. If we just go real quick here and look, Walmart really strong today. Nice close here. See if we can come back and retest those tweezer top levels. A big move on Walmart today because they got their Sam's Club and all that stuff. Costco, obviously it's always packed, and it's even more packed now. So that was a big candle right there on Costco today. Kroger, recent Warren Buffett acquisition or accumulation. Right, Kroger's been having some real nice moves. Right, big move yesterday, another upper shadow here. It's not the prettiest of all moves, but nice. Even BJ's Wholesale Club, BJ, that had a huge move today too, guys. That was an impressive one as it filled its gap and is approaching these levels up here. So yeah, some pretty impressive stuff on the big box stores and the warehouse clubs. Good stuff, yeah. And then FISV. FISV, yeah, so nice hammer today. I like how it held one of our old fib fan lines right here, so that's good. Decent volume here. A little bit of decent volume, but still decreasing from the prior day. But it did show. I like the lower low right here, and I like how it kind of put in a hammer on that one. So let's see if that can get some follow through on that. And then DG, yeah, decent one on that one too. I like how it got. I like how it got over the 200 day. Still stayed under the 50, but a really, really strong move here. I mean, essentially a Morningstar reversal here, which of course we'll talk about there. And we'll see if we can get some strength to the upside and maybe hit these recent highs, which would be nice. Good stuff. Palo Verde, what's going on? LH. Yeah, LabCorp. I know what to tell you. You'd think these testing, like Quest Diagnostics, things like that. You'd think that these things get a little bit more bullish activity since they're doing they're out there doing the testing for the corona, but for whatever reason they're just kind of going down with it. But anyway, interesting stuff. What's the resistance to the upside? We obviously have today's highs, right? You've got your trend line right here, so depending on how long it takes to get there, you can track that as resistance. You got your ADMA right here. Scene of the breakdown could be a potential test level right there, 141. I'm not saying it's resistance, but there's obviously some selling pressure there, so it's definitely an area of interest that we could get to, right? So we had a nice hammer right here too. Never got any follow through on that one too. So, and then you got your gap resistance. You're entering the gap right there, and then you've got your these right here. So those kind of your major levels right there. But definitely wait, and see how it does with this trend line. That's really the key. Hey, my pleasure. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Bullish trends for PFE. So PFE is tough. Right, so to do trends, right, we want to see our trend lines, right, and so that's really kind of the key thing, right, to really see our breakouts, right. So macro trend line on PFE has been down. This thing's been struggling for a while, even before, a lot of the news came out. They've been in the works to try to help, like Guild and stuff like that, with their with their vaccines and all that stuff. Here's your recent trend line. This is your intermediate trend line right here, or your micro trend line, right? We did pop above it right here. So today, I'd like to see a bullish close above yesterday's highs. With some increased volume would be great, and then we might be able to get up to this trend line right here, and then we got to do the same thing, get above it, close above it, and then try to work our way back up to the cloud. So, it could happen in any order, but it's kind of 3 green candles, I guess, is okay. It's just been really, really tricky. So it would be nice to see it get some strength. Costco, of course, just forever bullish on Costco. Even in the worst times, this is where you want to go to load up on bulk items, right? So one of the things that it did do is it got to the macro trend line today. Here's your macro trend line from forever, right? We've been below it for a little bit, so it just got to the 50-day of the macro trend line. So let's see if we can kind of work our way above that there, and then try to do its thing. Now, Costco generally is not a huge mover. It has done, for the past few weeks, but generally Costco likes to move on earnings and then just kind of chop around for a little bit. Move on earnings, chop around for a little bit. This one it didn't even move on earnings; it just chopped around for a little bit, and then it ultimately then it started to work its way up on this, on some, good gap news. So. And then it kind of works its way up, a little bit pull back and continue there. So a little bit of crazy movement right here, but could give some good intraday setups on it. The option spreads have been a little bit rough. Yeah, Kroger. Oh, look at that. We looked at all those. Yeah, Kroger, Walmart, Target. Let's take a look at CVS. Yeah, so CVS, that's the idea right there. So we got below, we're still below the ADMA right here, but it does have some potential to work its way to the upside. Again, most like say like in Italy, like they closed all the restaurants too, but they everything except for essentials. So they have grocery stores open and drugstores. So keep an eye on that. CVS being one of the drugstores there, and then ARPN. Let's take a look. I think APRN. I think. Yeah, so Blue Apron, nice move right there. I mean, good gap up today. Strong candle yesterday. Nice breakout candle right here. It's always annoying when you see these with these, the upper shadows on this because it stayed below the 50. But if you like the volume, you like the breakout volume on that one. You got your payday today on the gap up, and then upper shadow here at the 200-day moving average. So see if it can stay here and consolidate and hold above the cloud and get some movement on that. The news on this one recently: food delivery. Grubhub, stuff like that. Yeah, so Grub had some good news today. I think they got halted at one point for volatility, so they had a big move up. As the president recommended, or the task force recommended, drive-throughs, delivery type stuff. So good. Yeah, nice one on Blue Apron. I appreciate it. Good one. Groceries being delivered. Samit, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, bullish on PFE, nice. Yeah, we just looked at PFE there. Let's take a look at BDX. Wow, BDX is a real nice one right there. I like that. So nice, nice candle on that one, right? It does have some levels that it still needs to get above, but I really like that candle and the volume on that one. That's nice. Let's see what else. Codex. Co-diagnostic. So yeah, interesting right here. I mean, it does look like it's kind of doing a big, huge bull flag right here. So let's see if we can get over these levels. Try to do that. It's just interesting that every gap up gets faded, gap up faded, right? Gap up faded. So just be careful with that. But you might be able to see some moves on that. ABT, of course, with their masks and all that stuff. So we've also had this kind of channel that we've been dealing with right here. So good candle today. Still below the channel. Let's see if we can see we drew it right here. Let's see if we can get above that and work our way up. So close, confirmation, and a move would be nice. And then INO. I know it was a great run. This is a breakout candle I like to see, right? This is what I like to see. So nice candle right here, good breakout over these levels right here with increased volume. That got a nice follow through the upside in that one. Now it's just kind of looking like a maybe possible like head and shoulders type pattern or something like that. But it could get some more if they have some more good announcements on any of their Corona progress. So Micah, what's going on? Will overnight and morning Fed injection cause a bump? I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know how much plunge protection team is going to be buying out here. They might be just waiting for things to settle down and then the buying will really happen. So, I mean, they've just like put so much stuff out there right now, right? They've already lowered rates to 0. They're talking about QE, right? And that they reversed off of that. Today they came out and talked about doing like a $1.2 trillion stimulus package. They talked about sending Americans checks. I mean, you could throw money at this thing all you want to, but until people start seeing people getting better and they feel safe and they can go out and not have to worry about getting an infection, right? That is the big so basically ultimately vaccines, cures, and recoveries, I mean, is the only thing that's going to get this market really going again, right? Other than that, government's shutting down businesses, shutting down restaurants, things like that, shutting down the economy. So you could throw money at it all you want to, but until people feel comfortable and are safe to go out, right? It's gonna continue to weigh on the market. So we just have to pray that does happen, right? So that's what we're looking for. So good stuff. Yeah, no, I totally got you. Yeah. Smp, what's going on? Lyft and Uber trends. Yeah, so Lyft, I think, announced that they're no longer doing. As of today, they stopped doing sharing, like ride sharing. I think it's a ride sharing company, so maybe I didn't interpret the news correctly. Maybe they meant like where you carpool. But in the cars, but because I know they have the carpool option. But either way, it got hammered today too. Another low right here. Again, one of these days, the Lyft and the Uber are going to be an epic long-time investment. Like Uber being both technology company, right, and also transportation company, right. So this is going to be a big deal, to buy the dip on eventually, right. But until we can get over our trend lines right here, right, it's just kind of is what it is, right? So we'll continue to monitor those. And the trend is down until proven otherwise. So, two son, what's going on? Oxy, let's take a look. Yeah, so Oxy, this is one we're going to keep an eye on for sure. It's still under $10. This is one that Carl Icahn recently, doubled down or like averaged down at a stake on this thing. So, I do think Oxy's been, is a good one to trade. It gave us actually a lot of nice short setups on the way down, which was great. But right now it's just kind of consolidating a little kind of deal right here. I think this is kind of one of those ones, that could in time, get over its trend lines and try to work its way back up once oil and all the other oil companies start to make a recovery. So I think it did good on that one. We'll just see how long it takes it to play out. So JD, they had some good news this morning, right? So nice little bump. 2 candles, not going to make a trend yet. So the biggest move right here, right, is your trend line right here. So again, it looks like it's actually kind of working its way in a channel right here. So let's see if we can get above it. Let's see if we can get over the 50-day moving average. See if we can get over this trend line. Confirm above it with some increased volume and try to work its way back up. But yeah, it did have some good news this morning, so that's good. Matthew, good evening. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Naveen, what's up? Yeah, let's take a Baba. Baba, I think what was it? Didn't the old CEO make a commitment to send some stuff, some things over to help people. So that's good. It just so it got a little bit validated, but then it was kind of a little bit short-lived, and we've got the upper shadows right here below the 200-day moving average. So still below the macro trend line. Let's see if we can get above it, right? Confirm above it, and then try to work our way up to the cloud on that one. Microsoft. Microsoft. So one of the big things with Microsoft right here is the congestion zone, right? It's been defending it right here as we, it was in this zone for a long time right here. So if I kind of put it here and activate it, right, this is kind of like your supply zone, right? This is like your buying pressure area. So let's see how it handles this area, right? So it's kind of in it right now. You can see it bounced off of it and all that stuff. But we could see it chop in this range for a while. So it seems to be a good, kind of area for Microsoft before it's ready to try to do it again. EFA, yeah. So iShares right here. So let's take a look. So we got this going on here, right? Still below its trend line right here. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. And then Apple. Nice candle today, though. It did have a nice candle today. And then Apple again, too. We've got this macro pitchfork here. Right, if we kind of zoom out, it goes back pretty far right here. But we got over that pitchfork right here. We tried to hold it for a little bit, and here we are at the pitchfork median line. You can see how important this level is, right? It held here, 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 right? Or, served as resistance for a little bit, and then it became, this is the first test of it as potential support. So let's keep an eye right here. We had a bounce off the 200-day moving average, bounce off this level. Not saying it's bullish right now because we are breaking down below 1, 2, 3 trend lines right now. It's got a macro trend line right here, and below that you've got your pitchfork down here, and back at 187. So we'll keep an eye on it. They did shut down all their stores. All their Apple stores, so something that could weigh on it a little bit. So keep an eye on that. Domesty, what's going on? BIIB, that's another Kroger, Warren Buffett investment, right? So recent Warren Buffett investment. So this thing has been pretty wild for a while, right? So big move up right here, chopping around, big move up again, chopping around for a little bit. So it's from this high to this low. Basically, today's like a little poke above that trend line right there. So let's see if we can close above those highs, and maybe it'll start working its way up again. And then Xilinx. So nice day today. I mean, on Xilinx, it's a tough one to trade anyway, right? It's generally pretty blah, right? I mean, it's its macro trend line is down, its intermediate trend lines are down, right? Its micro trend lines are down, right? So it had a nice candle today. Let's see if it can get some more strength, right? Get above these trend lines here, and then it might want to test that prior support level, right? That could serve as resistance. When it gets above that, kind of go there. But Xilinx is a tough one. Osiris, what's going on, man? So what do you think about the utilities sector? Now that most businesses are closed, the consumption of gas and electricity will decrease. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, too. I mean, it's going to be rough right here. I mean, like, at least in our state, the governor, stepped up and said, like, don't worry about, your bills and all that stuff. Like, everybody, we'll make sure that nobody shuts off your gas or electricity. So it's going to be weird to see what kind of, subsidies they get. Yeah, it could definitely get hurt. You could look at the kind of the big ones, right? You look at your XLU. Right, so it had a big move today, but obviously it's still been trending down. Those are utilities, right? You can look at kind of the big ones like Dominion, right? That had a big move today, right? So, we'll see if that gets some strength on it. And, Duke, another nice candle today, Southern Company, but still all these are basically below their trend lines right now. So let's see if you can get some, they can build strength off this. This is Morningstar reversal right here. So if you can get some strength, the Southern Company was epic, for a while. It's just like, just continue to work its way up. So let's see if we can get some strength off of that and kind of go from there. But yeah, it's, question too, if people are going to be able to pay their bills too, if they're not working. So you got that going on as well. Micah, yeah, my pleasure. Smit, thoughts on Box? Yeah, I mean, it's just getting crushed, right? I mean, it's well below all its trend lines, well below the ADMA. It's starting to hang in there a little bit, some good volume right here. It kind of closed with the Northern Doji, right? So see if we can kind of get some strength and hold right here. Maybe it could be one that'll move sideways and give us some indication a little bit. And then Pepsi Consumer Staples. Yeah, so that held up pretty well today. I like that. So, nice green candle today, good volume. Again, it's still below its trend lines, but definitely want to keep an eye on too. So that one and Coke could be good. Oh, Micah, yeah, Boeing, of course. Yeah, so Boeing, guys, look at that, hit $101 there. Let's see if we can get down to $10. That'd be so cool on Boeing. So this thing went from hero to zero, right? Again, it's below its trend lines right now, even the micro ones. And again, nice candle day, big volume, nice hammer, right? But it's got to prove something, and they're hurting. I mean, they basically said the government, they need, bailout money and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not sure the American people would necessarily want to pay for that, right? I mean, considering they, can't fix their airplanes. So, anyway, something to keep in mind there. But it's at 100 right now. See if we can get up below 100. But big lower shadow. If it breaks down below the lower shadow today, right, we'll see a down move. It did give some nice intraday setups, though. We had a nice triangle breakdown this morning, then a triangle breakout. So it had some pretty big moves today on Boeing. Sumit, so how to keep zoom level consistent once you switch between charts and stocks in Thinkorswim. Share any link to video in the playlist. Yeah, so I mean, just to, here's how you do it. You go to, I know you can't see it right here. You go to Studies. You go to Time Access. So you click your Studies button right here, and then and they'll give you some tabs right there. You go to Time Access, and there's a Scale button that says Keep Time Zoom. Okay? So Settings, You can see me kind of hover over that there. You can't see the pop-up right here. Go to time axis. The tab right there, there's a bunch of tabs at the top, time axis, and there it says scale, keep time zoom. Okay? So hopefully that helps a little bit. If you have any questions, you can DM me in Twitter, and I'll send you a picture of it. But hopefully that makes sense. Heather, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Just got on. Good. So your governor just shut down Vegas for 30 days. All gaming will be shut down tonight at midnight. So there you go. See ya, casinos. Thanks for sharing, Heather. I really appreciate that. Yeah, our state here, and we shut down all restaurants. So all in restaurant dining. Yeah, so I'm not surprised to see the casinos getting hit here. So we knew they would be next. We talked about this morning on the live stream. So that's that. So good stuff. Keep an eye on those casinos again tomorrow. So that Penn Gaming one, nasty candle right there. Keep an eye on Wynn, LVS, things like that. Could get crushed. So thank you, Heather, for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Restaurants too, yeah. And I think Amazon officially, I saw an article on Amazon saying that they're only stocking their warehouses with essentials now or something like that. So Amazon's gonna be affected too. It had a big day today, but could be affected as well. So good stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Great chart requests. Really appreciate it. Great discussion as always. If you guys are new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And if whether you're new or not, definitely hit the like button. We always appreciate that. And then also check out the links in the description. You can see us on Twitter and our website and all that stuff. So good stuff. Great chart requests tonight. Really appreciate everybody for the questions and chart requests. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We should have another exciting, fun trading day tomorrow. So everybody get some rest. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Pray for everybody, and let's have a good night's sleep. Another awesome trading day tomorrow. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.